nursing. I gave up my position at the hospital and went down, and I asked Dr. R.O. Fisher, who later was Dean of the University of Toronto, if he would watch over her, if I would try some of these herbs. And he said he would, and it took quite a while, but she got better. And she lived for 21 years.
In about 1943, I was diagnosed in Toronto General Hospital as having a growth in the bowel which was inoperable. And that was in January. And my husband was told that when the snow was gone, I would probably be gone with it. So through friends, I was directed to Miss Caisse. And I came to her and had treatments from her for practically 3 years. And felt I was cured, and I've had no return of it since.
Dr. McGuinness heard about me in Toronto. He was a member of Parliament. And he came back and he said, I want you to treat a patient for me. And I said, no, I'm not treating any patients up here. He said, oh, yes, you are. He said, this one has diabetes and cancer of the bowel. And he said, I'm using insulin for the diabetic condition. And he said, I want Esiac for the cancer. And I said, I'm not mixing them. I won't do it. So I wouldn't do it. So he said, I tell you what we do, we'll take away the insulin and use Esiac. And if the diabetic condition worsens, we'll go back to the insulin and take away the other. So on those terms, I consented to do it. But to our surprise, the diabetic condition cleared up before the cancer did. So he kept case notes, and he said, we'll go down and see Dr. Vanting about this. And that's what interested Dr. Vanting, see, was the fact that it had worked on diabetes. I didn't know it would, neither did Dr. McGuinness. He didn't know it either.
Thank God, Esiac, at last minute, cured me, and all teeth was repaired and went back, and just I am a normal man again, who eat well, who drink well, and sleep well, and no more burning in my body.
Dr. R.O. Bastida of Bracebridge sent me a patient, cancer of the bowel, Bert Rosen, and I cured him. So Dr. Bastida went before the town council and mayor and persuaded them to give me a building that they had taken for taxes as a clinic, that I had made a great discovery and that I should be supported in my own hometown. So they persuaded me to go and set up the clinic, where I treated for 8.5 years.
Our clinic would be full every time we were there. And there were people came in ambulances who were not able to come in for a treatment. She would have to go out and administer the medicine out in the ambulance. Then as the time went on, we watched these people be able to walk in. And finally, they were driving their own car to get SCI.
I treated from 300 to 600 patients a week. And the only way they would allow me to do this was free of charge, and I had to have a doctor's diagnosis for every case I treated.
So we brought the diagnosis to Nurse Case, and I took treatment from her every week for about a year. And I have no cancer today.
Well, Dr. Banting wanted me to work with him, but he was doing animal research, you see. At the time, he was working on chickens, to tell you the truth. And, but they wanted me to close my clinic and just do animal research. And with 400 to 600 patients, depending upon me for treatment, I couldn't leave them and go and work on animals. So I refused his offer, though I was very flattered by it, I must say, because he was a very wonderful doctor.
Not only did Rene turn down the Banting offer, she also turned down, in her cautious, wary manner, a group of American businessmen who offered her $1 million to exploit her formula.
Dr. Leonardo, he was a cancer surgeon, and he used to go to Vienna every year for 2 months, special surgery. And he came to my clinic, and there were about 50 patients waiting. And he said, "You think you have a cure for cancer?" I said, "I'm way beyond thinking I know." And he said, "I don't believe it." I said, "That's your privilege." So he asked if he could talk to the patients, and I told him yes. And he got so interested. Then I had 5 other doctors in examining patients. And he asked if he could go in with them and examine patients, and I told him he could. So then he told me, he said, "You have it." But he was rougher than that. He was a big, bluff fella. And he said, "But the medical profession will never let you do this to us."